An interesting. I'm now showing you brief history of the Cabbage Patch Kids.
Yeah, we're going to show you a special product that we ordered and the story behind it. So there's a series called...
The History Channel.
On the History Channel called...
The Toys That Built America.
The Toys That Built America. They have the food that built America, the industries that built America. And so there are episodes called The Toys That Built America. If you've not seen them with your kids, they're really cool. They kind of explain toys. Also, the food one is cool because it explains all the products and where they came from. So they did a series on this, which is a what, Charles?
Cabbage Patch Kid.
Cabbage Patch Kid. And so they did an entire biography on the origin of the Cabbage Patch Kids. And we learned that the Cabbage Patch Kids were actually soft sculptures at the beginning created by a lady named
Martha Nelson Thomas.
Martha Nelson Thomas. And she was a folk artist in the 1970s. And Xavier, is that his name?
Xavier Roberts.
Xavier Roberts actually visited her and he saw her dolls. And he decided that he wanted to sell her dolls. And she didn't want to mass produce them because she made dolls for who, Charles? Who did she make dolls for?
Xavier Roberts.
No. Xavier Roberts took her dolls. Her husband, her family members, her friends, and she considered them works of art, like babies. And so she did not want them mass produced. So she sold them, but she sold them with birth certificates and she sold them to specific people. She did have a booth, but she would do a personal story with them. So her dolls looked just slightly different than the Cabbage Patch Kids. So he recreated the images because he was a business entrepreneur who had an art background. And even though she asked him to stop selling the dolls and recreating them, he did not. So if you watch the entire biography, basically he ripped her off. And he mass produced the Cabbage Patch Kids. And he started it by starting a hospital in Georgia, right, Charles? Mm-hmm. Called the what?
Yeah.
The Cabbage Patch Hospital. He made a backstory about cabbage patches, and he sold the dolls as coming from cabbages. And as if you grew up, when I grew up, you'll know that they were a mass hit and that there was a mass craze on it. In fact, people were even getting violent to get those dolls, which really broke her heart because from the beginning she wanted them to be a loving, caring.
Let's show the clothes without the outfits on, the different logos.
What'd you say, Charles?
Let's show the clothes without the different outfits
So if you look at a Cabbage Patch Kid, he had his name imprinted on every single one, branded as art. But we got a Martha Thomas doll. This is actually not an original doll. The original dolls, the heads were what?
Soft
sculptured. She actually put a kit out in the 80s and they had vinyl heads and soft bodies that you could actually create at your home by sewing them and stuffing them. And so we were able to get a hold of a 1980s doll. And on the dolls, her name is not on the dolls. The dolls' bodies, though, say the original baby on them. They come with a little tag.
And they have no logo on them.
And it says the original baby, and it says Fiverr Crafted Materials Corporation's Martha N. Thomas. So her name is on the tag, but it is not on the doll. And so we ordered one, and we wanted to compare. And we knew the nose looked different. So if you look at the nose, she made her noses that way, and he redesigned the nose to look like that, to make it just slightly cuter. Also, there are no eyelashes on her dolls, and there are eyelashes on the Cabbage Patch Kids, and the mouths are shut. And the mouths of the Cabbage Patch Kids, some of them are open with teeth, and some of them are shut. So we currently have 3 Cabbage Patch Kids, right, Charles?
Mm-hmm.
A blonde one with blue eyes, and then we have a boy with blue eyes, and then we have a girl with brown eyes. So these dolls, and this one actually has the original Cabbage Patch clothing on it. And then if you compare the size of the dolls, the body is actually the same size almost, but the head is much smaller, if you can see the comparison. Also, there are hands, fingers and toes on these dolls, and on the Martha dolls there are not fingers or toes. So those are the differences between the dolls. She did settle out of court with him for a large sum, which allowed her kids to, all three of them, to go to college, and also allowed her to live in a nice paid off home. So the amount was disclosed, but that was the end, and he got the rights. He got to maintain the rights of the Cabbage Patch Kids. So that is pretty much the story. Charles, do you have anything to add?
No.
There's nothing else you want to tell him?
No.
Okay.
Bye. Thank you for watching.
All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.